Greetings, this is Mr. Solomon. It's another edition of Minecraft EDU for schools. This is a project we just finished with our Minecraft club that consists of 1st through 5th graders, and we were working on learning about circuits and creating lighthouses. So first we looked at different kinds of lighthouses and how they're designed, both in real life and in Minecraft. And then we spent a couple weeks practicing making a circuit with a rotating light, because we talked about how lighthouses have rotating lights. So these are different solutions of how to create a rotating light using redstone. So there's one way to do it with minecart rails and detector rails. There's another way to do this with repeater switches. So you can use the repeaters to set up lights, and we talk about what materials are needed. This is another way to set it up. And so we looked at different examples. So we spent the first week of our Minecraft club practicing making 3 different circuits. And so we looked at how repeaters work. And then this was their challenge. Make 3 different circuits that have rotating lights. And then once they did that, then we started building lighthouses. So we had a way to practice using circuits with redstone. And then we went into Minecraft and then build a lighthouse with that on top. So if we get into the game here, I'm at the spawn point. This is a world I created with just a big sandy area. So if I look at my map, try to make it bigger. Okay, so you can see the map. And if I start walking around, what I'm going to do is press M and go to my world settings and change it to evening. So if we look at these at nighttime, then you can get a better idea of how these light up. So here you can see a student did a nice job with minecart rails. So they've demonstrated their understanding of how redstone can create circuits. Here's a couple more examples. Students using the minecarts. So if we look around, they did a good application of their learning. Then if we look at the other one, students made 2 different lighthouses, one with rails and one using repeaters. And they did a nice job on that too. And so if you look at it from a distance, you can see how the rotating light works. I'm going to start exploring a little more, let's see what's down here. I'm looking at my map up there on the top and see where I can find some more places to explore. This is a rather large world, which is why you see the landscape sort of unfolding and rendering as I go, because it's a little memory intensive. Looks like these guys didn't quite get theirs done. We talked about making sure these were lit up before we left yesterday. Here's another lighthouse using circuits, not quite rotating, but some are getting the hang of this. It was nice to see 1st graders being able to do this as well. So I'm going to check out a few more areas, see if I can find some things to show you. The main issue is the lighthouses are a little small. But my goal was making sure they understood the concept of electricity and circuits, and I would say 90% of the students were able to do that. This is a really good example of how they can make a rotating light. So we'll stop around, we'll take a short pause, come back, I'll try to find some other lighthouses that you can see. Here's one that was made with a flag. Another example. So we talked about how lighthouses are usually located near water on a peninsula, so ships can see them from a distance. And so I'm looking at the top right of my screen, just keeping an eye on where I am. That's my map. The map comes in handy a lot. And so we'll look at a few more in just a minute. Okay, we're going to look at a few more lighthouse examples. Here's one that has a flag. That looks nice. And it has a minecart. Here's one that's designed not quite rounded. They do have the lightkeeper's house. And then this one uses switches, repeater switches, to make their rotating light. That looks good. So I'm looking at my map up here in the top right. And that shows me where everybody is. You can see the world's rendering as we go. Here's another example. This one's not quite done yet. Looks like they don't quite have their switches running, but it's close. And so I'm looking at the top right on my map and seeing where I'm navigating to. If you want to go back to the spawn point, you press M for the menu key, press the teleport icon, which is the checkerboards, and then you can go in different directions. So let's try going down this way. I'm not sure if we've seen these yet or not. So there's one. Coming down this way, not seeing any new lighthouses. We talked about building them far apart from each other. A couple more examples. So we have an inside, we have an upstairs, but we don't have a light. Here's a very tall lighthouse. So let's look at the inside of this one. So I see steps, that looks good. I even see a sign here. So we can see who it belongs to. This is probably the tallest lighthouse I've seen so far. It's not quite a rotating light, so I would say they need to work on some of their switches on how to make that a little better. This is another nice tall one. They just need to put a minecart on here. So you can see that some people finished and some people have a little bit of ways to go. This took us 3 weeks. We spent 1 week practicing making circuits with redstone, and then we spent 2 weeks creating these lighthouses. So you can see this one has the potential to be very sophisticated and not quite have all of these lighting up simultaneously or going around, but it's close. So that's a nice design as well. At least it looks like a lighthouse. So our students did a nice job on this project, and then I'll share this with them the next time we meet. Thanks for watching.